Hello, everybody. So this is a simplified model of an eyeball. And the reason we are looking at this today is because I'm going to kind of try to describe how the different parts of the eye work in relation to what I have experienced with my eye condition, and then kind of give you some insight into other reasons why an eye might not be functioning properly and how that can in turn create different kinds of visual impairments. But mostly this is to show you how I understand what the eye does and how my vision is affected. So if I open it here in half, we've kind of got some labels for different parts of the eye. As you guys know, the most commonly known part is the pupil, and that's where you've got that hole in your eye that light comes through. So it's going to come through there, and basically the inside of your eye, this whole round, interior part, is just full of like this clear gel stuff. And so it's going to pass through. There's the lens that, stretches out and gets thinner depending on how far away stuff is that you're trying to focus on, or it like squashes down and gets a little thicker if you're trying to really focus on something far away. At least I believe it's far away. If I'm incorrect, please let me know in the comments. But here, then it goes all the way to the back and it hits this section right above. You would think that this is kind of like the power cord here, but this is not where the light hits. It first hits like this really small part here. It's called the macula, and it's just a name for the part of your retina that's got the most photoreceptors. So the receptors of the photo, the light that is coming into your eye. So we've got lots of rods and cones, mostly cones, because that's what helps you see detailed stuff and color and light. The rods kind of hang out more collectively towards the outer parts of the retina, and they are what help you to kind of understand the information that's coming in from the most like outer part of your pupil, so your peripheral vision. But here at the macula, that's where all like the finer detailed central vision comes in. And if you've heard of macular degeneration, it's the degeneration of the photoreceptors that are here at the macula, which makes it hard for you to see stuff in the center of your vision. Makes sense, right? So all that stuff that the macula and the rest of the retina is picking up and collecting as light and color information, those photoreceptors, the rods and cones, translate it into information that can travel then through your optic nerve, the nerve that's connected to your eye that sends information up to your brain. So for me, as my condition is a degenerative retinal disorder, kind of like macular degeneration, a lot of my rods and cones no longer work. They're just kind of dead. And that presents itself in a way that eye doctors can see it as like a discoloration, like pigmentation in the color of my retina when they shine the light in your eye so that they can see what's inside this dark jelly filled ball here. What they can see in my retina back here is that a lot of the cells are a different color because they've died. And so that's kind of the short of it. I've also got nearsightedness, so it's hard for my lens, I guess, to kind of adjust in a way to be able to let me see things farther away, especially because my pupils are trying to take in as much light as possible. So they're usually a little more opened up than other people's pupils are inside. Like when you're indoors, a lot of people's pupils are kind of like a certain size because they're not needing to take in as much light, because it's not dark, it's bright enough for them. But because I've got a lot of those rods and cones that aren't working, the other rods and cones that are still alive are trying to work overtime, and they're telling my eye that they need more information and more light to be able to tell what's going on. So then my lens doesn't want to, contract to like focus on things farther away when I'm outside. My pupils do get a little smaller because I am also sensitive to light. It's hard. It's a hard life. I've got to have enough light to be able to see something, but I also can't have too much light because, again, my photoreceptors are like, oh my gosh, that's way too much for us to handle. And so then, pupils not always dilated or contracted the same way everybody else's are. Also here you can kind of see, I think, there's like some little veins that you see where blood comes in and delivers oxygen to the eye so that all the parts can function properly, just like any other organ in your body. People with my eye condition, which is LCA, Leber's congenital amaurosis, basically a juvenile type of retinitis pigmentosa. There's that word pigmentation again, and retina. So a juvenile version of that, something that kids can have. With my eye condition, a lot of those veins that deliver, or the arteries that deliver the blood to the eye, are thinner. And so my eye doesn't receive as much oxygen, or it doesn't receive oxygen as quickly as other people's eyes do. And so that also affects vision sometimes. What I'm seeing, or my eyes kind of like a little bit weaker, like it, needing to work hard and not having enough oxygen to do that makes it a little harder for me to see things sometimes, especially things like being sick can affect that. Like when I have the flu or something, or just a cold, like, I'd call those my bad eye days. Things are a little more blurry, less easy to focus on. Even weather, like changes in like the pressure, the barometric pressure outside and that kind of stuff affects, how oxygen and everything travels in your body. And with thinner blood vessels, that's affected too. Let's see, what else can I tell you? So this very first part of your eye, it's kind of like the screen protector of your lens and pupil here. It's the cornea. And so there is actually jelly stuff, fluid, that is in between your cornea and your lens. Actually between your cornea and the pupil, that helps to expand and contract the lens. Actually no, so your pupil actually expands and contracts on its own to let light in. Your lens actually has some other muscles here that help to expand and contract it to help focus the light in the right part of your eye, or the right what's the word that I'm looking for? Help me out, guys. The right amount of space that the light kind of pinpoints onto your retina, like that size of the area that the light makes in there. So two different sets of muscles working together to let light in or not let as much light in, and then also focus the light that is coming in. So, but your cornea is just here, like I said, like the screen protector. and it's also got fluid there to kind of help like protect the iris, and also to work a little bit in focusing the light, or like how the light comes into your eye. Just the shape of it and everything helps with the images and stuff like that. And so if you get a corneal abrasion, or just like a scratch on your cornea, that can be like if you got a scratch on your screen protector, or the scratch on the screen protector that covers your camera lens on your phone. It just provides an obstacle for what's coming into your eye. I actually had a corneal abrasion one time when we went on vacation. One of my sisters was reaching for something in front of my face and accidentally scratched my eye. And they were very young, and I didn't have the reflexes or the vision to like kind of move my head away so that it wouldn't happen. So I had to go around for a couple weeks with like a scratch in the middle of my eyeball, of my vision. A little bit annoying, but it does heal, over time if you like take care of your eye. Some people have eye conditions that affect the cornea, so like that fluid in there can be pretty cloudy. The fluid in your eye and here between the cornea and the rest of your eye doesn't always stay there. It actually changes out because it gets, you get, what's the word I'm looking for again? It can get cloudy, right? And just like your tears help to clean the outside of your eye, that fluid also needs to drain and new fluid come in, kind of like your cerebral spinal fluid, and stuff like that. Like, you get earwax, you get boogers, those kinds of things clean the insides of your body all the time. And so with this, that fluid drains and new clean fluid comes in. Some people have trouble draining that fluid, and so it gets really cloudy, kind of dirty, or a lot of pressure happens because it's not draining fast enough. I also have, like, sometimes I have high eye pressure, probably just from my muscle or my blood vessels and stuff, like not bringing oxygen fast enough and all that kind of stuff, it not like filtering things properly, and so that can happen. There are also here like the muscles, you can see part of it. I'm going to put the model back together so you can see it all together with the muscles. We've got some muscles here. It doesn't show the whole muscle or where it connects to, but it shows where it connects to the eye. These are the muscles that help your eye move up and down and side to side, and they all work together to make your eye be able to like do more of a 360 kind of thing, And so part of my visual impairment, because I've had it since I was born, my eyes never really learned how to focus on something and stay still very well. I've had to practice doing that, and if I really let them do what they want, they'll kind of like vibrate a little bit, like they're just auto-focusing all the time, auto-focusing, just like trying to figure out what they can look at and just kind of not really knowing what they're doing because they never really learned, from the beginning. I've had to really practice focusing, and it can be a little strenuous sometimes because my eye naturally doesn't know how to stay still, for lack of a better way to explain it. And so when I try to make it stay still, it still kind of wants to vibrate like that, and that causes a lot of like strain. If you are doing a lot of workouts with your different muscle groups and just continuously straining your muscle all the time, you're going to get fatigued. And so what happens with that is it becomes harder for me to do reading in print or using my computer. I have to take breaks from using my computer if I'm on it too long because I start getting a headache from just working my whole eye, but also those muscles there that want to be moving around all the time. So yeah, and here's the optic nerve as it would be, from the outside of your eye. You've got all that information traveling through there. There is a part in the very center. Let's see if I open it here. Starting here at the optic disc, where there are no like photoreceptors or any information like passing there. And that's kind of like a blind spot that people have. But you don't really like notice it because information gets filled in. And a lot of younger kids too, if they're born premature, have issues with the optic nerve because the eyes are kind of one of the last organs to form, and the functioning of the eye is one of the last like developmental things to happen. And so either the optic nerve didn't form correctly, or trauma caused it to sever a little bit from the eye, causing an interruption or a disruption of the information passing to the brain. And so you could be missing the information that's coming from your right visual field, and if this part over here is broken, or like from the top or from the bottom, all the information that comes through your eye actually goes through the nerve upside down. And so it's kind of confusing to remember what part of your vision is affected by what part of the eye if one part is not working correctly. But basically it's just like if you broke a cord that connected a device to another device, the information that could be coming through could be incomplete or not at all, just because of how it functions. But yeah, that is kind of a little brief overview, kind of more of a description on what my vision is like and what happens when different parts of your eye are not working correctly. If there are any questions that you guys have, anything that I forgot to go over or that is a little confusing, just let me know and I can do another little quick video for you.